I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but these are the chick pin cushions for my quilt retreat. And this right here is all about this quilt that's on the wall. That's what my video is going to be about today. I am going to finish this quilt. Can't wait to get it done because I don't have much time. It's got to go to my granddaughter. Let's zoom in a little bit. I love, 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 love this quilt because of all the awesome fabrics that I made it with. It is like a party, and you've invited Where's Waldo to come. He's the only guy that's not on the quilt. So just in this shot, I see R2-D2 and C-3PO. I see a dog barking. I see Sushi, a little astronaut, part of Pooh, part of Eeyore, Christmas candy canes. There's a little astronaut. Oh my gosh, there's a Weber kettle, chickens, hot peppers. This is so stinking much fun. And my granddaughter, who has a great sense of humor, oh, there's dogs all over this quilt and unicorns and cats, and there's more sushi down in the bottom left corner. Anyway, my granddaughter, who picked out this quilt, is going to use it at her college dorm. So it's going to be an extra long twin. Many of you popped in my comments when I talked about this quilt before and told me what you guys did for your extra long twin quilts for your children and grandchildren that went away to college. Thank you so much, because it really helped. What I'm going to do today is take you through a strip construction, a block, and a block construction, because all I need on this quilt, and you can't see it, it's down to the floor, but all I need on this quilt is one more row, then it's ready to be quilted. Let me show you what my granddaughter picked for the backing, because I was so excited when she did. By the way, this is the sack of scraps that I'm working from. What do you think of this? The roses and the strawberries. This is a line called Calico Cowgirls from Poppy Cotton. Lori Woods is the designer, and I think it's phenomenal. I'm only hoping I have enough to put on the back, because I just bought it a long time ago. Let's see what I have. Okay, so here it is doubled. I know it's going to be wide enough. I'm gonna just hold it up, give me a few inches extra for the long arm. Oh, guess what? It's not going to be enough. I'm gonna have to do some cutting and pasting for the back. So this is what I'm going to do. Let's see. There's one. There's going to be 4 widths that are about 20 inches from the selvage to the fold line. And so what I'll do is have about this much left over, and that will be cut off and sewn on the bottom. So there will just barely be enough of this Calico Cowgirls. I think this is the best quilt to put it on with a white background, all the party on the front, and oh my gosh, party and beauty on the back. Anyway, I'm standing on this. It's a mess. I'm going to put it over here and take you to my machine after I get rid of all of these chick pin cushions that I have to stuff and sew eyes on for my retreat. Because you see right now, they're apparently on a diet. They're thin and blind. Let's get going. To make this quilt, the first thing you need is a scrap strip. And I have a little one started here, which I am just going to finish. This is it. And I'm going to pull some scraps out of my bag. Let me go ahead and pull out some of my strips. But before I do, I also wanted to show you this. See what these are? These are selvages. I have used selvages in a lot of these. I think this would be adorable, the little gray chick. I am just going to put the right sides together I think it'll be easier if I sew the raw edge to the raw edge. Now my selvages are 2 inches thick. You know, I cut mine 2 inches thick. And when you do, you still have a full 42 inches. So when I'm working on these strips, I always keep a pair of shears right next to them, cutting this off. And I'll put that back in the pile. I want to add another selvage. Here's a blue one. It just happens to have the American flag on it. Give this one a little trim. I will trim off, leaving about 1/4 of an inch left. Look at that. I have added 2 selvages to this piece. The only rule about working with these scrap strips is to have fun. There are no rules. I just have so much fun pulling everything out. Why don't I put Santa Claus right next to the blue flags? And when you're working with a selvage, you need to trim them. When you're working with regular fabric, you don't need to trim them, okay? This is fun, but there's a lot of blue right there. I think I would like a green. Here's a green, put it right next to Santa, because we know that green and red are opposite on the color wheel, and they look great together. And I'm not going to trim that. So when you make the scrap strips, you don't care if it's not straight. I'm gonna try this yellow or this orange piece. Just happens to have beehives on it. Not beehives, but bees. You could use a rotary cutter as well to trim these. I'm just using scissors. Let's see what else I have. Oh, this is cute. I'm gonna put these, this Tula Pink selvage from her, I think it's a Little Beast line over here. Oh my heavens, look at this, kiwi. We're putting some kiwi on this. Now, one thing I want to say, as you can see, I have a lot of novelty fabric. That's because I think it's funny, cute, and I buy it. You don't need to make these with novelty fabric. You can make them with whatever you have in your scraps, with colors, with all kinds of designs. And here I'm putting a selvage on. The key to making this is go ahead and make it with what you have in your stash, and then it will become your quilt. I am gonna put this little dog that's so stinking cute. Oh, look at this. Cute. Ruby Star Society, look at those cute puppies. Let's give her some puppy dogs. And just darling. Does it matter? Take a look at this. It's crooked. I could either cut this straight or just leave it. I'm not going to try and sew more on so it comes out this way. I'm going to try and straighten it up a little bit. Oh, I think we should have some bicycles on this. And this is another fun piece that I have. Isn't that cool? I think I'll sew the glasses on. And I am going to trim this. I don't think we need all of these. I can use that on another strip. Oh, this is pretty. I think I'll put it on right here. I call this relaxing sewing. This is a cool piece. It's ocean, seahorses. You know, I could make this as thick as I wanted it. I think it would be fun to have the seahorses in all the way. So I'm going to lay it down. Look, the seahorses are under here, and right sides to right sides, I'm putting this piece beyond the sea. Oh, get that joke? Beyond the sea. Cut this off. Throw it back in the bin because there's some great color there. Flip this over. Ooh, look at that piece. And I'm going to go ahead and trim it right here. And I'm just going to have a really fat piece. How fun is that? You know what I'm going to put next to the seahorses? I'm going to put a big old snowflake. So as you can see, there's only part of the big old snowflake. Are you getting the vision of putting these strips together? Some things I like to do, I like to pull a novelty print and then put solids next to it, or just, you know, colors next to it. Here's a nice one. Now I sewed this on crooked, and that again doesn't matter. Am I gonna go back and fix it? Isn't that fun to have that crooked part? I think so. Well, this is how long my piece is, and I can get several blocks out of this piece. The next step is to iron and starch it. Why don't you follow me to my ironing station and I'll show you how I do that. Before I press this, a couple of you have asked to see my Laura Star setup. Before I start pressing this, I'm going to talk about my Laura Star setup at the request of a couple of you viewers. I have my tank slash boiler right here. This is it. And I actually have it setting on a box. It's not on the lift package because this makes it a little bit higher for me. This is, I guess, cord holder, and I just have it clipped, as you can see, right here onto my ironing table, on the edge of my ironing table. This comes on the lift. It's a silicone mat. I didn't want to use the lift in this application, so the engineer made me this little piece out of wood, and I know it's just kind of silly, and I put the paper on it. He just put together 3 pieces of wood with a dowel in the middle, and the dowel is what holds the little silicone mat. So I just slip this over the dowel, and it's kind of steady. It's, well, kind of, it is steady. It's nice, and I keep it like that, and my iron sets on it. You can do whatever you want. I fit this to my needs in my sewing room. The first thing, as always, is to blow the steam out of the lines of your Laura Star. And remember, it's not going to burn you. So while I've blown that out, I turn it upside down like this. I don't pull tight, but I do hold it up, and I use the machine. I'm actually ironing, not pressing. You guys know the difference, right? This is pressing, and this is ironing. I get the whole piece, pressing the seam allowance in the same direction. I'm going to turn it over, and then this is what I do. This is just dollar store, and I just spray it like so. Now, no, this has never gummed up my wool pressing mat, or my iron for that matter. I get asked that all the time. This is a pretty heavy application of the starch, and I'm going to go from the back because it's causing everything to not lay flat again. But I'm just going to continue to press without steam and just heat like so. You could let it dry if you wanted to let it dry. I know when I starch fabric, I always let it dry, but when I do this, truthfully, I'm always in a hurry. So I give it encouragement with a hot iron and no steam. So there's that side, and I can feel it starting to get stiff already. Isn't this fun, all of these strips together? Just wait till you come with me on the next step and I show you how I cut them. You're going to be amazed. We have a pressed crispy strip. Now it's time to cut it, and this is really a lot of fun. I love cutting these. Here's my crispy strip. It has arrived. What you need for this next step is a good sharp rotary cutter, or a rotary cutter. What you need is a rotary cutter with a sharp blade. And I love to use this Quilter Select 3-inch ruler because I am making 3-inch strips. By the way, I don't think I told you, this is the block that I've made with these strips, and this is actually block number 1 on my video, Scrappy Strips and 4 Ways to Use Them. I will link that video down below so you can refer to it, and let me show you how I cut these. I want one exactly this size, and this is 5 inches by 3 inches, alrighty? And the 3-inch obviously goes this way. The first time I made this, I had a long strip, and then I had a long strip, and I sewed them together and trimmed it, and what was next to that strip went into my quilt. But this is my new method for doing it. After doing a ton of these, you can get some really cute strips, and I like showing the novelty fabric. For instance, look at the old-fashioned swimming suit next to the ginkgo biloba leaves on a coral reef with puppy paws. I love showing the fabric because that makes it more fun. So you don't have to do it this way, but if you're going to use novelty fabric like I have used novelty fabric, I recommend that you cut it this way. So I am going to cut a strip like this, and I'm going to start from, well, let's start from this end. I need it to be 5 inches long. 5 inches is right here. here is my 5" on this line, and looking at it, at this strip, I really want that cute little puppy in here. I could get part of the puppy and part of the picnic basket. Oh, and look at this, I could get both seahorse heads, and I could get the snowflake. And here's my 5". So this 5" is going to stop right here. I'm going to sacrifice this night sky piece, alrighty? And I think I'm gonna do that. I like that. Or, you know, you could come over here and cut the puppy completely out, or come over here and cut most of the seahorse out. But I think it's kind of fun to do a little bit of the picnic basket and the puppy. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to cut like so, and then this is a Quilter Select ruler, so it's hugging the fabric. If you don't use Quilter Select rulers or a fabric that has the little dots on it, I recommend you might want to try it. They're so wonderful. So here I've gotten 3 sides cut, and I'm going to flip it like so and line up the 5" line on the top of my cut piece, just like that, and trim it off. Slick as a whistle. And then I can either sew this together like this, or I ended up adding another row, just a single row of blocks on the side, and I have a bunch of blocks going down the side that are doing this. To make this block like so, I always sew it like this, with right sides together, and I press this to the, and this will be the dark side of the fabric. So there is one right there, okay? Now let's cut some more. I'm gonna cut this whole strip up so you can see. Now, our family especially loves sushi, and I want to have that sushi in. Dear, I'm gonna take just the top of that rooster's head off. I could go right here on this even line where it's dark and have a little bit, Now look at this. I could do this, and it would need a little bit of blue. So let me show you a trick. There's more blue if I want to go underneath and do some unpicking on this row. And I don't mind doing it for a quilt like this. And then you can do this. See how slick that was? If you do it that way, make sure you pull the threads out. So this is going to be a lot of bulk at the seam, and I think I can do it like this and still get my 5". Ooh, just barely. So I'm going to take this piece off the bottom. I'm kind of chuckling because I know there's those of you out there watching me right now that are just abhorred by unpicking. You hate it that bad because you've told me. You've mentioned it in the comments. So anyway, I'm gonna finger press this down, and that will be a fun block. So here I have 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to show you how to put them in a block or a quilt. Okie dokie, artichoke. Let me show you something here. This is my quilt pattern. I have my block measurement, my mattress width, the 10 extra inches I'm adding on the drop for all sides. So I'm going to save this over here where it will be safe. The first thing we're going to do is take this last block that I made and put a white block on it, right sides together. We'll call it a background block, not a white block. And what I want to do, so the seams that are pressed all in the same direction stay in the same direction, is I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to sew with the seams. I bet you do that too. All right, then I have a block that looks like this. I iron it, and there it is. Then I take 2 of these blocks and sew them together like this. Now, I'm going to caution you. This is where you have to pay attention because of how I'm placing this in my block. There is a left and a right or an up and a down. So this is facing me. I always do my first set of 4 with the bottom right having a colored block in it. So I go colored or scrappy, you can say whatever, and white, and then I do an opposite side like that. So this is how it looks. I take this and I'm going to turn it around like so, and I'm going to turn this one around and put it like that. Take these 2 to nest those seams like this, and the nesting is really good on this quilt, I'm telling you. Stitch her down. Voila! Now look what I have. I have a 4 square, well, kind of a 4 rectangle. Anyway, a 4 patch, a rectangle patch, who knows what it's called. But this is what goes from this to this to this. And then you're wanting to take 3 of these, okay? So I'm gonna take, look at this one. Look at the popsicles on there. Tell me that's not adorbs. And look over here, school buses and a mummy and watermelon. I mean, hello, isn't that just stinking cute? And then of course it wouldn't be Sister Chick's quilt without chicks in it, right? So there's some chicks, a little tea set, a Halloween piece, and this is a selvage, this is a selvage. Hey, these are all selvages in this block. Every one of them, I recognize them. Put them in the order that I want them. Again, I haven't ironed them, but I have got them kind of finger pressed to the dark side. So there you have it. There's 2 sewn together. So I have a finished block. Isn't that the coolest? What do you suppose the next step is? Can you guess? Hello. Shh. Yep, I'll meet you there. This might be a little tricky, but I want these seams to all kind of go the way they're naturally laying. So this I'm just going to press down. This one I'm going to press this way, and that means if I've pressed this one this way, the neighbor is going to go too, because I want everybody to play nicely in this quilt. My iron isn't quite heated up. But as you can see, oh, interesting. So this seam went this way, and this seam went this way, and look at that, it's like I rolled the seams. See that little intersection right here? Have you ever, I think it's called spinning the seams. So I'm going to finish, whoops, there's my Laura star ready to go. That'll be nice to do for this piece because it will relax it a little bit. So I'm just pressing these seam allowances, and it doesn't matter the direction you have them. It doesn't matter, like that. And then I'm gonna go on the top and really give it a good shot of steam and a good pressing. And I have a block finished. How about that? Now, what I'm going to do is connect a bunch of blocks to make the final. I'm just going to sew 4 of them together. Like this first. And how I'm going to do that, I'm probably not going to use pins again, is I'm going to nest these seams on the end like that. And it's going to be just like sewing the single block, only each single block is attached. Each single block is attached to 3 other blocks. Let's do this one. Okay. And there's the nest. You just got to find that intersection where they perfectly nest together and go with it. And one more. Sure, we'll do it this way because it really doesn't matter how we do it, do we? Does it? This is like almost 100 inches long, and it's not that wide. This is the bottom end right here. When I sew the bottom end, I am going to pin every one of these intersections. I just find it so much easier to do it that way. So here I go. I nest and pin. If you don't watch your seams, you know, to nest them, what's going to happen is there's such a stark difference between my background and this. It's so bright, it's just not going to work out. You're not going to like the result. Check it out. It's on the floor. So it's 101 inches long. And what is it wide? It's a big long one. But this is a twin extra long with 10 inches on both sides for drop. Ta-da! Now this quilt is 63 inches wide, and that's because of this extra strip on the side, by 101 inches long. Now I have to cut and piece the back and quilt it. You are gonna die when you see what my granddaughter picked for quilting. I can't believe it. And you know what? I'm not going to show the quilting in this video. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, but I am going to show you another quilt that I recently quilted that you may know about. Let me get it. So I'm going to share my granddaughter Jillian's graduation picture with you. Isn't she just beautiful? She is going away to college. She got a 4-year full ride scholarship. We're so proud of her. This was another video I recently did. Do you recognize this quilt? This is my 1-inch pixelated Christmas tree quilt, and I want to show you the quilting up close. There you go. Can you see that quilting? It's called a wavy crosshatch. I love it. I did it on another quilt that I showed you. No, I didn't show it to you because it was a gift for someone, and I didn't want to spoil the gift. But this is such a fun background pattern, this wavy crosshatch. And I ended up just putting this on it. I didn't have to match it like on my other Christmas quilt, but you know what? It's going to be a wall quilt. I am going to bind it in this fabric. I have the binding already cut and I need to get it done. But as you can see, it's a pretty stiff quilt because I have a layer of cotton and a layer of wool batting in it, which is really good for a wall quilt. And honestly, I don't know how I'm going to store this one. I'm going to have to get a long closet. I'll probably wind it up on a large pool noodle like this and store it wound up. I just wanted to share this with you. This was so much fun to make, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Well, I decided you are going to get to see the quilt finished. This is the backing. I have it all put together, and I'm probably too tired to quilt it tonight, but I am going to go down and load it on my long arm, or maybe, I think what I'm going to do is just get the long arm ready. I'll load it in the morning real early. I've got a couple of appointments, then I'll come back and I will finish this quilt tomorrow for you. So you can see that I'm in the garage, and I thought, I've got to get this quilted. I might as well show my viewers how I quilt it. So that is what I'm doing. It's about 11 o'clock at night. I had a full day in town, and I'm just going to stay up and finish this, but let me show you how it's turning out because I absolutely love it. Doesn't the backing look beautiful? Now, the only thing I regret about the backing, I literally had one little fat quarter left over. That was it. But I had to seam it, and you know what? I couldn't match it. There was not enough fabric to do it. But I think it's absolutely a beaut. It's what Jilly wanted. I actually am just about done. I've probably got 6 more rows. This goes really fast. Now, my granddaughter is going to be studying marine biology, and she said, Grandma, I'd like you to quilt it in fish. I'm like, what? And I said, like octopus and all this, because they have a ton of ocean designs. And she said, no, just a regular trout fish. I think it would be cute. So there you're seeing the fish. There's part of one. Anyway, here's another fish, and it's just turning out cuter than ever. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm gonna have it, I'm probably not gonna have it bound for you guys to see it on the video. Sorry, I am Superwoman, but not that Superwoman, right? Yeah, I gotta get some sleep. Plus, this week is our state fair, and Blue Block and I want to go see the quilts. I give you the quilt made from block number 1, or Jilly's college dorm quilt. The backing came in very close. In fact, this is all I have left over from the backing. I'm really grateful for this selvage piece because isn't it cute? But let's take a close-up at some of the quilting. Can you see the fish? There's one right there. There's another one right there. I really had fun making this quilt. Such a fun quilt to make. And then all of the little designs and pictures in it, like paper dolls, avocados, ghouls, and sushi. It's all the way to the floor with a little ripple. It's 101 inches tall or long and 61 inches wide. It's going to be perfect for that dorm bed. Here's a few close-ups, some of my favorite blocks, the sunglasses with the lips. Well, you know what? I can't stand it. You've seen so many through this whole quilt. Truthfully, they're all my favorite. It's just a party in a quilt. And it's an adult I Spy quilt. Ta-da! Isn't this gorgeous? Let me show you. So literally, this came from this bag of scraps. Isn't that incredible? I love this pattern. I'm probably going to do it again because, oh my, look at the big bag of scraps I have. And I keep adding to them. For instance, this is all that was left over from the backing. But am I going to throw this 1.5 inch strip away? No way. It's going in my scrap bag. And look at the great colors I'll have. I'm pretty excited about that. Let me show you what I'm going to bind it with. We originally were going to do blue, but the blue wasn't singing very nice with the background. So instead, I'm going to do this aqua. The aqua is going to look great on the front. The blue would have looked great on the front. On the back, the blue really clashed because there's nothing of it and there's so many other colors. But take a look at this aqua. There's an aqua rose in there. It blends nicely. Or sings in the choir very well, as I say. Isn't that a pretty back? I think Jilly's going to love it. If you like watching my videos, you know what I'm going to say. So just do it. Then I won't have to say it, right? Okay. I'll look for new subs from you guys. Thanks for the thumbs up and the comments, and I will see you on my next video. Stay tuned.